Hey, Sunday, June 25th, 2023, on the way to the gym. So it looks like this Prigozhin thing, when I made my video, things were happening yesterday, and it looks like it was an emotional rant, and now so Lukashenko came in there and talked him into backing down, for this revolt in Russia. That Prigozhin was really angry that, the Russian military was bombing his men and starving them of supplies, and it's really crazy, actually, that it's boiled to the surface like this. I mean, there definitely is mismanagement and graft in the Russian military, for sure. That's why all their stuff is broken. But it seems like it's a lot deeper than that now. It's like a power struggle and egos, and very primitive emotions at play here. I mean, so this was not what we had hoped, that he was backed by the CIA, and that somehow the CIA got his phone number and called him up and made a deal with him, and probably we were hoping that maybe some people, other people upset in the Russian inner circle, or some of these people who are governors of the different regions or provinces of Russia would have backed him. I guess that's off the table. I guess that was not going to happen. This was just kind of a very short outburst. And now he's in Belarus. He's exiled there, which means he's probably going to get the, what is it, the radioactive cocktail, the polonium. It's a radioactive chemical. It's a choice of the Russians to poison the dissenters. They all mysteriously get a stomach illness and die. So that's probably what's going to happen to him now, unless, I don't know, he has like some loyal circle, because he's got to pay them. So perhaps he's got to, I don't know where he's holding his money unless it's in gold bars, but in Russia they could freeze his bank account. I don't think he has maybe he has a secret Swiss account and he's paying people from that. But I think even Switzerland froze these oligarch accounts. So unless somebody is helping him or something, he's pretty screwed. I mean, it's one less war criminal we have to deal with. He's probably going to be dead here within, I would bet, within a few weeks. So yeah, and he was probably, it's good, he was probably one of the more competent leaders in the Russian inner circle, or in the Russian leadership. I mean, the other generals, they are not competent at all. I mean, they're just doing the old meat grinder technique. I mean, you can argue, Ulysses S. Grant, just threw waves of people, but there was still some tactics and some strategies involved. But you can win wars with human waves. It's expensive, it's inefficient, it has a lot of aftermath, of course, but I think what this might have done is maybe even inspired other Russian generals or Russian leaders to start questioning what the hell they're doing. I mean, let's hope so, because if the Russians keep up with this human waves, it's going to be, like I said, I was saying the other day, Ukraine has the spirit, they have they definitely have the tactics, they have the skills, they just don't have enough weapons and firepower. It's just, you need a lot, they need enough, to cut down millions and millions of Russians, and they've only managed like 150,000, which, like, by any stretch or any measure, is really good. But this is like the army of the orcs, that we're dealing with here, or like a zombie apocalypse. So it's just like, it can go on for a long time. One of my good friends, Sergey, he was a local Ukrainian guy. He was drafted in the army. He contacted me today, so we're gonna make a box for him and send him supplies. He's doing logistics somewhere, but he can very easily be transferred to infantry. So there's this Norwegian camping food called Turmat. It comes in an orange bag, and you just add hot water in there, and it gives you like 500-600 calories. I used to eat this stuff when I would go on trips to northern Norway to do I had a renovation house in the, not northern, but middle Norway. And I mean, the gas station food, I mean, the only restaurant they had there was the gas station. And for a hamburger, fries, hamburger fries and like some snack, like a little chocolate or something, it was like 25, 30 bucks. So I used to bring this tour mat, which is like what they call hiking, go po tour, go for a hike in the forest in Norwegian. And they call it like, hiking food or whatever. And it's just boiled in the bag. It's an army ration kind of food, but it's tasty. This one I'm sending will be reindeer stew. It's the last one I have left. But they had like chicken curry and they had all this other stuff. So I'll see if that company can make us a donation and we can get it out to his unit, and get some Norwegian flags stamped and all that. So, everyone knows Norway doesn't like Russia. I mean, we know Norway doesn't like Russia. They're on the border with them, and they're sent already the air to surface or surface to air missiles, the NASAMs. I forgot what that stands for. The Norwegian or new, air to, or new advanced surface to air missiles, I think is what it stands for. Or people used to call it the Norwegian advanced surface to air missile system. So those have been protecting our skies. But these soldiers need some good food to eat. He sent me pictures of what they're eating. It's a lot of low quality carbs, a lot of pasta and all this stuff. It gives you like quick energy, but then you feel dopey afterwards. So I'm going to send them some vitamins. We're going to go shopping today, see if we can find some brown rice and stuff that gives some proper energy and proper, so that way you can stay alert and everything. So yeah, luckily he got logistics, he's so yeah, it was nice to hear from him and everything. But so that'll be something I'll be working on this week. And but it's too bad Prigozhin was not smarter. I thought he was a little bit smarter, but I guess not. No one in this Russian military is that smart. They just have the only reason why they've gotten anywhere is just numbers, just massive amounts of numbers. If you throw a lot of numbers at something, you can get some result, but it's just very wasteful. And the long-term prognosis for Russia is it's done. The world, like I said, we're going into a wartime economy now. I mean, we're into a second Cold War already. It's just the beginning. So a lot of industry is going to shift back to the U.S. All this strategic technology is coming back to America. We're not going to be handing it out so easy. And so everything is, a lot of things will be changing. The dollar's going to be strong. It's really going to be a good time to be in America, and even in Western Europe, in a sense. It's there's going to be a whole new layer of defense industry that's going to take root and take off, and it's going to change. Yes, things will be expensive. We're going to have constantly, just like in the 70s, 80s. Maybe Americans will lose weight instead of having all this cheap food. Now 2,000 calories is going to cost like $20 or $30 instead of $10. So then people eat 2,000 calories a day instead of 6,000 calories a day. And maybe this obesity pandemic we're having in America will turn around. Anyway, it needs to. There needs to be more directives from above. We need to get all the young men in shape and ready to join the army. That is, if they can draft men, they can tell them how to eat. It's my view. They're going to have to change the school lunch program and, change the nutritional, what do they call the RDA, required daily allowances or something. So they're going to have to overhaul the system and get us into a war mode, because this doesn't end until Putin is dead, and then you still have to deal with China, and that's never going to end. They have their own. It's cultural with them. It's historical and it's cultural. They have a vision and everything, and I think they want I don't think they want to take over America or any of this, but they definitely want to control Asia, and that Pacific side of the world. So it could be foreseeable that the Russians will take advantage of a the Chinese will take advantage of Russia's demise and might grab Siberia, and then they're definitely going to try to make a run for Taiwan. We're going to have to face that sooner or later. So we got to get ready for that. So there's, we're in a new generation. It's the crows have come home to roost, or whatever that expression is. It's time to pay the piper. They've been building up all this time. Things have been quiet for the last 20 years, 30 years. They've been building up in the background, and they're ready to stick a move. So we have to now, America has to work harder to win over South America, win over Africa. So you'll see a lot of American investment there just to buy off governments. We're going to have to make deals with dictators like we've done before, because if we don't make a deal with them, the Russians will, and then they'll get those resources. So it's like sometimes you have to pick the least worst choice. So there's going to be the hypocrisy, taking Pakistan's side over India, because we just know in the back of our heads India will always come around to the U.S. even if we're screwing them over. Ultimately the greed and the amount of Indian people in America and their influence in India and the business interests will ultimately win out. There's not much Indian-Russian trade compared to what's American and Indian trade, or I should say Indian-Russian trade is, I think, only a smidgen. You're talking very little compared to the trade between India and the U.S. So the U.S. has to always help Pakistan, and I'm not so angry about Pakistan anymore. I mean, I grew up in Punjabi family, and my grandparents and parents were displaced by partition of 47. Now I understand it. U.S. needs some presence close to China, close to Afghanistan, close to Iran, someplace that and they have to deal with shitty people. And I mean, Modi isn't that great either, he's definitely better than what's in Pakistan, but he's not that great either. So, but this is just the things that we have to live with and the things we have to deal with in this era, in this new age that we're entering into. So, that's how it's gonna go. It's definitely oh man, it's reliving life in the 70s and 80s in the Cold War. I grew up in teenage years in Cold War, and we thought the Soviet Union would never end, and it was just a way of life. And everyone, in my class and everything, we had a lot of people who wanted to be engineers and wanted to join the military and wanted to fly jets, and then or work at Boeing or work at General Dynamics. I mean, I even right out of college had a job offer at General Dynamics, but I turned them down for the Navy. At Electric Boat to work on the Seawolf submarine. That was long ago. So that's all coming back. There's going to be a lot of these, we need to increase the trade school education in America. We need the pipe fitters, the electricians, the plumbers, people who know CNC manufacturing, and also these new blue collar skills where you're merging IT and, shop floor stuff, so the CNCs maybe would done with some programming for, some more advanced programming or CAD drawings. This kind of stuff is going to have to be bolstered. I mean, so I hope the people running in America get this. Certainly I hope DeSantis or Biden, they're the two front runners. I think I don't think things are going to go so well for Trump anymore. I think he's hit the wall here. I mean, no matter what the other people did with the documents, if he actually violated the law, then it's two different things. It's two different matters. They can't use one to negate the other. Unfortunately, that's how the law works. So I think I saw the betting odds in England. There's a couple British websites that you can bet on anything, and they're usually actually quite accurate, because they're going to lose a lot of money if they get it wrong. So, they're bookmakers, they're statisticians, they're lawyers, they're experts, really know their stuff. And they're betting he goes to jail. And they're betting he doesn't get pardoned unless a Republican gets in office. I mean, I'll see if I can post this in the comments, the website for the odds. So hopefully DeSantis is not a total sellout. And I don't know if they could get someone better than Biden on the Democrat side. I mean, like I said, RFK Jr. is not his father or his uncle, that's for sure. He has like zero charisma. I saw him speak. Everyone's saying there's a conspiracy against him. I don't think so. I think you just need to listen to the guy speak. He sounds like a broken vacuum cleaner. Hopefully, I don't know, they could get Mark Warner. I'd like to see the, senator from Virginia. I think Mark Warner should we need him. He seems to have it together. Mark Warner or I don't know if there's any general, charismatic general in the U.S. military that would be a good Democratic front runner. Maybe General Wesley Clark, but I don't know if he had some controversy or not. He was a general during Kosovo. He prosecuted the Kosovo War. He was, I think, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs or something at that time. But I don't know, even Al Gore, maybe they got to pull him out of mothballs, to have a strong ticket. They definitely got to get rid of Kamala Harris and get a better vice president. Maybe RFK Jr. can slide in there, or, as a vice president. But, yeah. So, I mean, so that's where we are today. I think this, like I said, this Prigozhin thing, it's too bad. It's too bad it was an emotional rant and not a CIA-backed coup coordinated, that they would have been in Moscow and shot Putin in the head and, already had the nukes secured. That was that was the fantasy I had yesterday. But like I said, the worst case was that this guy just went off the rails and didn't think through or get his backing in place. And now he's in Belarus, and it's good. They're going to kill him. And he'll probably be replaced by a Russian bureaucrat. And it should be a little bit better for Ukraine. Fighting the Russian army, I think, is easier than fighting Wagner. Because Prigozhin, like I said, he was actually in front of his men, and he somewhat cared for him. I'm talking in relative terms in a Russian context, not in like Western context. So, yeah. But unfortunately, we thought Moscow would be on fire today, but I guess not. Because if Wagner had all this backing and everything, they would have been there already. They would have been at the gates of Moscow today fighting the Russian army, and all the attention of Putin would have now been to pull everyone back and pull everyone to defend Moscow. And then the Ukrainians would have swept back the old territories and been able to make a move on Crimea. Maybe even the CIA or been able to bargain with the generals in Crimea, give them amnesty or something and just get it back, and then tell those Russian soldiers, if you join us, you're not going to have to go back to Russia and you can live here, make some deals, or allow them to move to South America or someplace. But anyway, now that's my dream situation. But anyway, I'm at the gym, better work out. Got a lot to do today. Got to go to center Lviv today, meet the friends. Anyway, take care. Bye.